In distant space, in the far-flung future, Earth helps lead a united federation of planets in the pursuit of peace and exploration. But the Starfleet is too big, too far away to deal with ordinary problems, to deal with the corrupt and the cowardly who threaten all good things. Thus the United Federation Patrol Fleet was born, led by Captain Dash Reinarr, Lieutenant Maxime Grigori, and Dr. Tavrius Prin of the starship USS Dharma. They champion the patrol fleet's highest ideals, to serve the people, to protect the vulnerable, and to stamp out injustices across the stars. This is Star Trek Patrol Fleet. This week's voyage leads us to the killers of the third moon. In distant space, on the third moon of the Neutralis system, the Klingon Empire and the Cardassian Union have joined together in a banquet of peace, re-signing the neutrality and non-aggression pacts signed a decade ago between the two nations. The feast is worthy of any true Klingon warrior. Their gold sashes and armorings glisten in the candlelight, and they eat their fill. Their reptilian counterparts, the high-necked, armor-clad Cardassians, eat with class and sophistication, their watchful eyes inspecting and consuming as much as their thin-lipped mouths. A new race upon the galactic stage, the Cardassians are said to be a race of peaceful beings, explorers and scientists, engineers and diplomats. They have waged no war, and they only possess but a dozen bulky deep space cruisers. They are antithetical to the warring Klingon Empire, separated only by the vastness of neutral space, their only link being dinners such as this one, and peace treaties that allow the Klingon Empire to focus on their true enemy, the United Federation of Planets, a multi-species democracy that was formed over a century prior. However, tonight gives them a new enemy. A high-ranking Klingon diplomat, toasting to the peace, collapses, foaming at the mouth, dead on the spot. Poisoned! The Klingons call for war, the Cardassians sue for peace, but there shall be no peace, for as long as the Cardassians live. The aging Captain Kalar, hero of the Third Klingon War, is ordered to take command of the Klingon Armada and bring it to bear on the Cardassians. With little other choice, the Cardassians call for the Federation to mediate, and they send the one man they can spare. How is she holding up, Lieutenant Grigori?
The USS Dharma is operating at efficiency, Captain Reinarr. Warp factors 1 through 5 have been tested successful. Andorian phaser banks operated within expected parameters.
Well, let's hope we won't have to use them, Lieutenant. She's the first of her kind, a Miranda-class scout, and I'd hate for her to be the last. Where the Klingons are involved, trouble soon follows.
Aye, Captain. Yet, will they not hesitate upon seeing Dash Reinarr arrive?
The only reason they agreed to mediate in the first place is because the Federation sent me. The name Dash Reinarr means something to men like Kalar. even if he did walk away from our last engagement the victor.
Captain Reinarr?
Tavrius! It's good to see you made it on board, Commander.
Only because I allowed my medical equipment to stay behind on the space dock. That said, it would be prudent to not find yourself injured or incapacitated, as I currently lack the necessary tools.
You're the smartest griffin in the fleet. I'm sure you'll be fine without.
My wings do not make me an angel, Captain Reinarr.
But you're the closest one I've got, Tavrius. Coming up on Latau, Captain. Thank you, Lieutenant Grigori. Go ahead and bring us out of warp.
Communication from the Cardassian space station, Captain.
Pipe 'em through, Commander.
Captain Dash Reinarr, this is Station Orbital 2 of the Cardassian Union.
Orbital 2, this is Dash Reinarr, Captain of the USS Dharma, United Federation Patrol Fleet. We are here to mediate peace talks between yourselves and the Klingon Empire.
We have been tracking your arrival for some time, Captain. Please, attach at docking pylon 12, ring 2.
Copy that, Orbital 2, USS Dharma, out. Well, that was our first look at a real-life Cardassian. Thoughts?
I have not seen a color that shade of grey since my babushka's last stew.
They are reptilian humanoids, potentially predatory by nature.
The Cardassians are a peaceful people, Commander.
Perhaps in word, but logically, I disagree.
How's that?
Predators have their eyes facing forward. Prey do not.
Well, so do we.
Yes.
Lieutenant Grigori, take her in. Aye, Captain.
I am inevitable, you high-necked toads. Surrender now, and perhaps I will use this station instead of spearing it through the core of your filthy planet.
I see no such reason for the barbarity, Captain Keglar. We did not, could not perpetrate this murder.
Assassination! The Klingon Empire shall not yield.
The Klingon Empire is of no threat to the Cardassian people, as the Cardassian people are no threat to the Klingon Empire.
No threat. The Klingon Empire is the scourge of the galaxy. I'll have your tongue, you snake.
Kalar, stow the blade or use it to cut your steak.
Federation whelp, I'll have you as well.
You'll do no such thing. The Federation is here to mediate, not listen to your pointless blustering.
Bluster is only done by those who don't have the teeth.
Or by the old who don't have the wit. Sit down, Captain Kalar.
As I was saying, the Cardassian people are weak, peaceful, purely by nature, I assure you. We have but 12 ships, and only one of which is here. Yet you, Captain Kalar, have brought nearly 30 warships to our moon. This is not a fight we would dare to start with you.
And yet you have.
You have no proof, Kalar. You claim it was poison, but Ambassador Kempnor was as rotund a man as I have ever seen. Perhaps he choked on his steak not properly cut.
Federation, dog. I destroyed your previous cruiser when we met at Antioch, and I will destroy your new one now.
And yet, I am still here, Kalar. A warrior who survives his own death is still something to be revered, is he not?
Still, it was poison. I know it.
Have you even examined the body, Captain?
I apologize, Captain, but I am afraid not. They have simply left Ambassador Kimpnor in the dining hall.
His poisoned corpse could kill us all. I'll not have another Klingon die to you, Duram.
Ambassador Duram, have your people examined the body?
I do apologize again, Captain, but Cardassians are hardly the type to pry into the affairs of the dead.
If there are no objections, I will have my first officer and chief medical officer examine the body. Tavrios Prin is an excellent doctor, and she should be able to determine what befell poor Kempnor. In the meantime, I suggest we all return to our quarters.
You flee?
Do you really think you'll agree to anything else I have to say at this time, Kalar?
I, for one, will yield to the judgment of your doctor, Captain Reinarr.
Perfect. We'll meet back here when the examination is done.
Very good. I apologize that I will not be able to stay in constant contact, but I must attend to certain affairs that have risen up. If you need me, I will be in Orbital 2's command bridge.
Finally.
Taking a moment to chew, Captain Kalar?
No, Captain Reinarr, I am not. I am not a young warrior, Captain Reinarr. My victory over you was the last time I even commanded a starship, and was meant to be the final time I boarded one for anything but travel. I have led warriors into battle for 47 years, Captain Reinarr. I am not intrigued by the prospect of doing so again.
A reasonable Klingon. I never thought I'd see the day.
Klingons are more reasonable than you think, Captain. We still value honor, traditional values, things your Federation has given up, things that will ultimately destroy your precious democracy.
Ah, very reasonable Klingon, of course.
Oh, admit it, Captain. Your society is too weak to survive. But that is not what I came here to discuss.
I was under the impression you hadn't come to discuss anything.
In front of that scum Duram, no. However, from one warrior to another, I come to talk about the business of war.
The Federation will not sanction further Klingon aggression.
Bah! I do not talk of that side. I am an old man, Reinarr. I cannot lead, let alone fight, another war. In good conscience, I couldn't wage it even if I tried.
Then why are you here? Your Klingon war fleet stands just outside this station, ready to strike. Even now, I can see through that viewport your warbirds circling my ship, circling this station, like hawks, ready to strike.
Because my loyalty to the Empire is unflinching. It may be wrong, but I will not waver in my duty to the Empire.
Then there is little to discuss. If you won't even consider...
I am telling you, Reinarr, that if you wish to avert this war, find a reason. I have orders to begin the assault in 2 hours. If you cannot find a reason by then, I will destroy your ship alongside the Cardassians, and the Klingon Empire will then encircle the Federation. If you can find a reason, however, it would have to be good evidence to convince me to leave. But if you can find a reason,
I will honor it.
Captain Reinarr, thank you for coming.
Of course, Ambassador Durham. Your communique said it was urgent.
Yes, I believe I did say that. I will not take much of your time, so please, don't sit down.
What do you need?
It would be more accurate to say that this is something that you need, Captain Reinarr.
Oh?
Yes. You see, Captain Reinarr, the Cardassians are a peaceful people. We do not want to see these peace talks fail.
No one does, Ambassador.
Of course, Captain. However, know that if you fail to stop the Klingon Empire here, Cardassia will bring the Federation into this war.
What? Why would you...
Do not concern yourself, Captain. We are a peaceful people. But you must understand that I have grand plans for my people. Plans that do not involve the Klingon Empire at this time. That is why you must convince them to leave.
For such a peaceful race, why would you ever drag the Federation into your war?
You know, Captain Reinarr, Cardassia sees itself very much so in your Federation of Planets. Likewise, I am aware that many of your more politically inclined colleagues see Cardassia as a reflection of the Federation. So, from one reflection to another, I will say this. Look beyond the borders of the mirror, Captain Reinarr, and you will find your answer.
Are you threatening me, Ambassador?
You should also know, Captain, that a Cardassian administrator, the administrator of this very facility, actually, was murdered mere hours before the banquet. Stabbed by a Klingon knife aboard the Klingons' ship.
What?
Oh, yes, a very unfortunate affair. The leading administrator of the only Cardassian facility this close to the frontier of Cardassian space, murdered in cold blood. To be honest, I care very little about who died and for what reasons, but I imagined that you might like to know.
Where's the body? The knife?
The knife... Well, the body has already been transferred to your sickbay. I am certain your doctor has already begun the examination. That is all, Captain. I eagerly await the results.
We have it confirmed, Captain. Ambassador Kempnor of the Klingon Empire was poisoned.
Great. Do we know how?
Yes, by using the root of a flower native only to Cardassia. It was ground up and placed on the edges of his cup. The flower is known to be highly toxic to anyone not Cardassian, and is typically used as a silent killer of sorts, given that it takes at least an hour to metabolize in most sentients. Kempnor was dead the moment the dinner began. He simply didn't know it.
Alright. Well, that points to Cardassians, then. Nobody has even seen their homeworld except for them. The only information we have on them
is the data they've allowed us to download from their station and a few exorbitant tales from travelers and traders.
The Cardassian administrator was killed in the same fashion Durham claimed. A knife, a Klingon one as well, as indicated by the small incision marks equidistant to the main blade.
Great. Now that points to the Klingons. Doesn't help us much. We just have under an hour now to find something before Kalar blows us all to oblivion.
It is logical to assume that both sides, and potentially us, are being played by an unforeseen force.
Or both sides are playing each other, and we're caught in the middle. Doesn't give me a single thing to work with in terms of forcing them to negotiate, though.
Unfortunately not. There may be one solution.
Oh yeah? What do you got, Doc?
You mentioned that both men did not wish to fight this war.
Yeah. Kalar's too old, and Durham, I'm not quite sure about him. But from what he said, I can gather he doesn't want it either.
We should use this. Bring them to the table. Use this information and utilize it in such a way that both men choose to desist from war.
Yeah, that might just work. Do you still have that old Klingon dagger?
Yes, it is in my quarters.
I'll need to borrow it. By the way, is there a way we can get hold of that specific Cardassian flower?
I believe there is a garden on board Orbital 2. Procuring one would be easy enough, so long as you do not ingest it.
Yeah, alright, I can make this work. Have Lieutenant Grigori send a message to Captain Kalar and Ambassador Durham. We're ready to meet again.
How long must we wait for this infernal charade? That Federation whelp called us here 20 minutes ago.
I am certain that Captain Reinarr has his reasons. Perhaps I can interest you in Cardassian tea.
You try and poison me so brazenly.
I am merely being polite.
If Reinarr does not show, I will take my blade and... What? What is this? A flower?
Yes. The flower, in fact. That poison Kimpnor.
Yeah!
And by Durham, I have placed a Klingon blade. Not unsimilar to the one that murdered a Cardassian administrator mere hours before the banquet took place.
You not only lay the poisoner's tool at my side, but you give him a weapon of my people to sully with his murderer's hands.
No. I give each of you the tools used to murder one of your own. Tools used to murder two high-ranking members of each of your peoples within hours of each other. Kalar, tell me this. Were you informed of the administrator's death aboard your people's ship?
What? Well, no, but...
And Durham, when did you discover the administrator had been murdered?
I was no...
Exactly. Neither of you knew about the Cardassian administrator's death. But both of you knew of Kimpnor's death. His very public death. That is because someone is playing both of you. Maybe Kimpnor's death was retribution for the administrator, maybe it was purely coincidence, but I don't think a single one of us here would believe in a coincidence at a time like this. Now, Kalar, either one of your subordinates is traitorous enough to kill Kimpnor and lead you into a war under false pretenses, or a Cardassian orchestrated both deaths, a likewise ludicrous assumption I think we can agree. Or, more likely, there's a third party, hoping to profit from you two killing each other over nothing, because these deaths are not unconnected. And what are we missing? The why and the who. We know neither of these things, and quite frankly, we don't have the time, do we, Kalar?
No, Captain, we do not.
Now, either we need to each pull a phaser on each other to save a torpedo the trouble of doing so, or we need to find a way to get past this. Which will it be?
The Cardassian Union possesses a surplus of rotten gold. I believe the Klingon Empire utilizes this metal in their blades of war.
Among other things.
And, I believe the Empire is experiencing a shortage of rotten gold at the moment. Correct, Captain Kalar?
And the Cardassian Union has to sell most of their food supply just to obtain deflector shields. Am I mistaken?
No.
The Empire would gladly do away with our surplus of shields. True warriors do not need a shield when a sword will do.
The Cardassian Union could forget the death of Orbital 2's administrator in exchange for those shields.
I doubt the Empire needs to hear that Kempnor was poisoned. Unchewed steak, I believe you said it was, Captain Reinarr.
It could have been.
I can lose Kempnor's autopsy report in exchange for rotten gold shipments.
I think this is a wonderful idea, gentlemen. I see no reason to dawdle on the intricacies when a handshake and a Federation eyewitness can do.
Agreed. Your ability to wage war leaves something to be desired. But your ability to find peace, I admire it, Captain Reinarr. Farewell. My fleet and I will depart at once.
And there they go. Kalar's flagship is exiting the system now. I'd say you have your piece, Ambassador.
Please, call me Inalan. And yes, I do. Tell me, though, Captain Reinarr, have you given the time to seeing beyond the mirror?
I've been a little busy averting a galactic war.
Then, while we gaze upon the space above the third moon, allow me to show you what lays beyond your perceptions, what lays beyond the mirror.
That's a whole fleet of warships.
Like you, Cardassia subverts and democratizes its way into expansion and power. And like you, we profess to be of peace. Unlike you, beyond the reflection in the mirror, we are always ready for war.
You people don't use those bulky cruisers at all.
I would love to answer your questions. However, I am afraid my time here has come to an end.
Who are you?
I am Inalan Duram, and you have overstayed your welcome in Cardassian space. Please depart within the hour, Captain Reinarr. Oh, and one more thing. The knife that killed the Cardassian administrator. It's been wiped clean, so don't bother searching for prints. But I thought perhaps a memento to remember this moment would do you well.
Transporter. But how? Lieutenant Grigori?
Yes, Captain.
Are our sensors picking up any other ships in the area?
No, Captain. Why?
Have they picked up any ships within the last few minutes?
No, Captain. Not since the Klingons left. Again, I ask why.
Beam me out of here, Lieutenant, and prepare to exit the Neutralis system. Warp Factor 5.
Of course, Captain.